But do I regret it? No, I don't have a lot of regrets because I feel like everything takes you where you're supposed to be.
That was Will Smith's ex, seemingly talking about how things ended between them. But on why things ended, here's what many people allege is the reason.
Only a man knows what a man needs.
But she couldn't keep it all to herself.
Who did you talk to? Who was your person to say, hey, I need this conversation right now?
My girlfriend Nicole Smith, who we wrote the book together, she was the one that we went through it, and she was like, okay, are we going to unpack this?
Weird part is that she would have actually preferred to know his perspective before things ended.
Because I think it would have made me understand him a little more, and I would have had more compassion and sympathy for him, as opposed to not wanting anything to do with him.
Most people think it's just a coincidence that Will Smith has stayed in controversy after controversy over the years about who he is when the world isn't looking. But you know what they say about rumors. There's always a little truth there. That seems to be what is turning the internet upside down, as Garcelle Beauvais has just spoken up about her time with the I Am Legend star. And it turns out there might actually be a lot we didn't know about Will. For starters, there's the fact that Beauvais and the actor had something going on while he was also with Jada. But considering the other revelations about the star involving men, this doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of just how deep the mystery that is Will Smith's really is. Now, we have the answers and they are explosive.
But a lot of people are raising their eyebrows at this one. Take a look at the pic that Garcelle Beauvais posted. That's a still from Wild Wild West.
Will Smith is one of the biggest names in the industry, and as such, it's only normal that people try to make up stories about him to get public attention. However, there hasn't been one case where the actor was accused of robbery, or even something as bad as peeing on the roadside. But the one news that's repeatedly made the rounds about him is that he might be into men. This is no accident, and it would normally be easy to shake off claims like these, but what makes Will's case particularly complex is the fact that there's a paper trail to back up these claims about him. Now, while this trail has come from several people over the years, ranging from some of the biggest celebrities in the game, all the way to regular people who have been on set or around the actor, it's now someone from the actor's romantic past that's spilling the beans about who he truly is. Recently, his reality star ex opened up about what it was like to be the apple of Smith's eye, and also some of the things she noted while at it. Garcelle Beauvais, who starred on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, has provided fans with some insight on the moment she decided to exit stage left concerning her and Will Smith's brief relationship in the 90s. On a recent episode of the Las Culturistas with Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang podcast, Beauvais looked back on what she described as a relationship that wasn't of the long-lasting variety. Beauvais reflected on her brief romance back in the 90s, ultimately what made it never turn into anything serious. As The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star recounted on the Las Culturistas podcast, she and Smith met on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air set. I was an ingenue, and he was single and a TV star, so we went out a couple of times. It wasn't a long-lasting relationship, Beauvais said in summary of her history with Smith. According to Beauvais, her decision to exit came about after realizing that things were getting serious between Will and Jada, who would go on to marry in 1997 and remain a couple to this day. As the Coming to America star explained, things fizzled out after one particular call she paid the actor while he was in the car with someone else and his son, Trey Smith. Then a child, Trey let it slip that Smith was seeing the actor's now wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. I remember one day calling him and he was in the car, and his son with Cherie, they were in the back, Beauvais said. So, he picked up on the car or Bluetooth or whatever it was back in the day, or speakerphone, whatever it was, and he said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I said, "I'm great." And I heard this little voice in the background go, "Is that Miss Jada?" And that's when I was like, okay, I'm not the only one. Exit stage left, Beauvais shared with a laugh, adding, "If a kid knows somebody, then that person's a little bit more important, right?" But Jada wasn't the only person in this picture at the time. Apparently, it was Will Smith's ex-wife, Cherie Zampino. The star recently made a cameo on an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and met up with fellow actress and Housewives star Garcelle Beauvais to talk about how they handle their exes. And guess whose name came up? But finding out they both dated him isn't the only revelation that's seemingly come from Zampino's camp. According to late actress Alexis Arquette, who passed away in 2016, Smith's ex-wife, Cherie Zampino, divorced him because she caught Will in bed with another man. According to Daily Mail, Arquette wrote in a since-deleted Facebook post, "When Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked into him, servicing his sugar daddy Benny Medina, then I will listen to them. At that time, interestingly, Jada, who had previously been known for being very outspoken about her Oscars boycott, didn't say a word about Alexis's post. On the other hand, Will also stayed silent on the allegations, but the only person to speak out was Will's first wife, Sherry Zampino.
Not only is it out of line, it's absolutely not true. And I'm offended and I'm hurt.
If I didn't know better, I'd think she was intentionally trying to hide something with that over-the-top reaction. At that time, even fans felt Sheer was overreacting with her response. Instead of simply dismissing the claims as silly, she took a firm stance, which left many curious if Alexis had struck a chord with her words. Not only that, YouTuber Trisha Paytas also accused Will Smith of manipulating her male dancers. In the video, she says,
Jada Pinkett, we're really gonna listen. How about worry about your daughter being naked in bed at 20-year-old boyfriend on the internet? How worry about that?
But we would later find out that this was only the beginning. Stories about Will's secret affairs with men started back in 2012 when Jada and Will's marriage was on the rocks because Will was apparently spending significantly more time with Dwayne than he had been doing with Jada and the kids, and several sources confirmed that as time went by, Jada was growing more upset about it. In fact, Will and Dwayne had been inseparable and were spotted together multiple times whining and dining, and even going on a private cruise in Trinidad, at restaurants and art openings in Miami, and a trade show in Las Vegas, all in just 4 months. A close source who spotted the two at Flair Restaurant in Trinidad said Will and Dwayne definitely looked very close. And although they were with company, it was clear Will and Dwayne both arrived and left together. The source added, Dwayne, who is married to Tisha Campbell Martin and has 2 kids with her, has been linked to Will for years now, but none of the two has confirmed whether the rumors were true or not. But more recently, Campbell also alleged that Will Smith was having relations with her ex-husband, Dwayne Martin. She published an Instagram post with an image that read, "The truth always comes out in the end, no matter how hard anyone tries to hide it." While vague in itself, she also wrote in a comment, "And you're right, they will lie till the end. The real kiki is, people will stop believing them." This led fans to make their own conclusions, and many of them cited her capitalization of Will as a subtle jab at an alleged affair between who are best friends. Dwayne himself was previously accused of being gay, but he dismissed the allegations. However, he and Will are so close that he also played the lead role in Will's executive-produced sitcom All of Us. Regardless, it seems Will's time spent with his BFF caused a rift with his family. On whether Dwayne had anything to do with it, well, when the rumors started, Will reportedly moved into a lavish bachelor pad in Villanova, PA. Jada can't stand Will's relationship with Dwayne. She feels like Will flaunts it in her face, hanging out with him every day and taking him on exotic vacations while she's sitting home alone, another source says. But that wasn't the only person Will might have been in out-of-wedlock relationship with, as he reportedly also had something going with Quincy Jones. Well, in actuality, his thing with Jones might have been going on long before he even got married to Jada, because that was literally the man who gave him his first breakthrough acting role as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. In case you don't know who this is, Quincy is a legendary producer, musician, songwriter, and so on. He is also often referred to as the Black Godfather of the music industry. Quincy Jones has produced for an impressive list of notable artists over the course of his career, including Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin, Rufus and Chaka Khan, and Michael Jackson. But that is not all that Quincy is known for. Over the years, Jones has been at the center of scandals and speculations of being gay. There have been rumors for a long time that he had a sneaky way of convincing men to be with him by promising them success in Hollywood. People have talked about a lot of men Quincy might have been with, and it's not difficult to see why. But when people discuss his alleged relations, 2 names always come up: Tupac and Will Smith. According to what the streets are saying, Quincy didn't waste any time getting close to these 2 famous men. Some even suggest that he pushed them into being with him. But it gets worse, as there are also claims that he tried to make them gay like him.
Come on, man. Look what type of he was. You gonna let these little geek white boys feel on you like that?
First off, do you remember that shocking interview with Tupac where he talked about Quincy Jones making advances towards him? That's right, Tupac said. Quincy straightforwardly asked if he wanted to get involved in a and not in a good place. But here's the surprising part. That interview has disappeared from the internet, and it seems like it's been erased. Now, Some folks suggest that only someone as powerful as Quincy could make something like that happen. And because Tupac isn't here to confirm the audio, it appears Quincy might be trying to distance himself from his bad moves from the past. But here's the twist. Even Napoleon, who's been connected to Tupac before, is denying everything. When he was asked about the rumored relationship between Tupac and Quincy, he didn't hesitate to defend Jones strongly. Will, on the other hand, seems to have accepted Jones with open arms. Even fans are aware that something has been going on between Quincy and Will, and they've been talking about it. One person wrote, "When Will Smith started working with Quincy Jones, remember when Tupac said Quincy Jones asked if he could F him in the and Tupac said he doesn't get down like that? That's when he was marked for death, pay attention." Besides Jones, another industry exec whom Will's name has been called in the same sentence as in a way is Diddy. The rapper, who is known for being one of the most successful people in his line of work, has also been reported to have been involved in certain explicit types of parties where closeted celebs get to be themselves. And guess who's one of his best friends? Our very own Fresh Prince. And it's not just Will.
My brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
We all know that sometimes when people drink, they become more open and honest. So even if Diddy was drinking, it doesn't mean he wasn't telling the truth. In fact, it might mean he was more likely to be honest. But even if you're still having doubts, there's more proof. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, mentioned that Puff was open to different kinds of relationships and once took Zibbit to a gay club. He also said that he had seen Diddy engage in acts, saying, "I know that for a fact because I was right there." He said, "Yo, Gene, watch the door and don't let nobody come through." I said, "I'll watch the door," and while I watched the door, he and a man ran out naked, he said emphatically. "I'm telling you what I saw." Even fans now believe that Diddy likes men. One of them tweeted, "Diddy is gay, period, no debate." Well, what's also interesting is that Jaguar Wright recently accused Will and Jada of grooming upcoming creatives, just like Quincy and Diddy had been doing.
Both buy they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship.
Jaguar also suggested that Will and Jada's children, Willow and Jaden, might have seen some unusual things in their home. That's possibly why Jaden wanted to become independent when he was only 16.
And once again, I hate saying these things because their children are dope. But Jaden's kind of MIA. And considering that he emancipated from their household at 16 and refused to come back.
Adding to all of this, rumors are going around that Will may have been involved with Diddy in hosting large gatherings where Hollywood actors on the DL could engage in private activities. Celebrity bodyguard Even Keefe D claimed he witnessed one of these events in the past, and he described it as so strange that it resembled a ritual.
Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, you told me before that you was at a party before that they attended, and you said the party was weird?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of weird, that whole, yeah, that's weird, dude.
While being gay is widely accepted in today's society, people find Will Smith's behavior with men seems particularly unusual. Even Adam22 agrees, saying,
Will Smith is bisexual and that they do this, and that, and the other thing.
Looks like the jig might finally be up on Will and all of his cohorts, but until the actor actually gets caught in the act or openly confesses himself, there might be a long road between now and us getting proof of who he truly is. That's it for this video. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I need to get into with that, but give me a second. I need to do something really quickly. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, the whole thing with that is that, so it's like this, I think, you know, based off the things that are alleged in this video, could I see these things being very possible? Yes. Have I seen substantial evidence? No, I have not seen substantial evidence, but I also do personally believe, like in my own personal opinion, you know, this is my opinion. I feel like Will Smith does, like, you know, exhibit a lot of zesty characteristics. And also we do have proof of other zesty things that he's done, just not of what they're saying. But we do have proof of like certain movies he's been in, certain movie scenes that he's done, you know, and certain things that he was willing to partake in. You know what I mean? And so we've seen enough with his movie roles, I feel like, to make a conclusion on that. For me at least. I've seen enough based off of his movie roles for me to make a conclusion that I agree with the narrative that's being pushed in this video. I don't know if all the things that are being alleged are necessarily true, but I do agree with the narrative, the overall arching point that, you know, Will Smith is zesty. I agree with that. In my opinion, I've seen enough evidence via his movie roles to support that type of argument, okay? And to support that claim. So, and Will Smith, I don't think he's really came out and said anything to defend against these types of claims or to debunk these things. You know, I've also seen some very questionable clips of him and Jaden Smith that, you know, I mean, man, I would never do that to my son. So I've got to imagine, I don't have a son, but you know what I mean? I've got to imagine if I had a son, I would never do that to them. So I've only got to imagine that there's something underlying there. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that I'm led to believe. Based off the things that are being alleged in this video, I'm led to believe that there's something underlying there with Will Smith. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion based off of all the things that I've stated and all of the situations that I've seen and all of these things. Okay. So, you know, I mean, the proof is really in the pudding when you look at it, right? When you really look at the situation for what it is and you actually look at a whole overview, right? And you analyze it and you actually start to look at this thing and break it down piece by piece and look at every single part that I've just mentioned. You know what I mean? As far as the Jaden Smith, okay? As far as the movie roles, okay? As far as him also just having some really zesty body language, okay? He's got a type of zesty, I don't know. You know what I mean? He's got this almost flamboyant movement to him that I feel like the way Will Smith moves is a little flamboyant in my opinion. In my opinion, I feel like he has a flamboyant way of moving, okay? That I don't see as masculine. You know, he tried to play off like he was masculine when he was slapping Chris Rock, but that wasn't even masculine. That was just simping, okay? That was lame. You know what I mean? Nothing about that was strong. So even then, he looked weak. So it's like, I don't know, man. I could see it. Even when Will Smith tries to look strong, he doesn't look strong, bro. Like, even when he tries to act like he's tough, he doesn't look tough, bro. He looks weak still. You know what I mean? So it's pretty pathetic when you actually, you know, look at that from that perspective. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about it. I really feel like, you know, like I said, based off the things that I've seen and based off of everything that I've mentioned to you guys, you know, also he also has very feminine reactions too. You know, his reaction to what Chris Rock said. Once he saw his wife get mad, he had a feminine reaction to try and please her. That was feminine. Whenever you try and please someone, you're being feminine, okay? Pleasing people is a feminine thing to do. Nurturing and pleasing and what's it called? I forget how to say that word. It's like coercing. It's not even that. It's like I forget what the word is called, but there's another word for it. But whenever you try to please someone, you're being feminine. All right, point blank period. I'm gonna just say it straight out like that. Okay, I was trying to find there's a couple other words that are good to describe this type of thing. But yes, whenever you're trying to please someone, whenever you're trying to I wish I could, the word is right on the tip of my tongue. I don't know why I say coerce, because I don't think that's a word. But it's something that sounds like that. Whenever you try to you know what I mean? Pander or try to you know what I mean? Whenever you try to please someone, you're being feminine, okay? So as soon as Will Smith did that, he was being feminine instantly. So I already knew he was a feminine dude from his reaction to Chris Rock. You know what I mean? I already knew. Ever since I seen him do that, I already knew he was an incredibly feminine dude. Does it surprise me that he may have something else underlying going there? Something zesty? No, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that was a very, very feminine reaction. He got so emotional after looking at his wife and trying to please her after he saw her reaction. Pleasing, okay? That pleasing nature, that's feminine. Okay? That anger that he got, that anger that he got, how emotional he got, the way how he got moved out of his calmness so easily, that was incredibly feminine and weak and embarrassing. Okay? So I mean, all of these things lead me to believe that yes, you know what I mean? These all of these things that I've listed and all of these situations that we've seen with Will Smith, as far as the, you know, everything else that I just explained, it really does lead me to believe one conclusion. I'm sorry. That's really it. That's my opinion on it. And you know, if y'all can drop y'all opinions below. If y'all disagree, that is okay. Explain why you disagree. Explain why you disagree with all the things that I've just mentioned. Okay. And just, you know, you can explain why you think that that isn't the case. Go ahead, explain that. Because I'd be curious as to what your argument is for that. But yeah, I mean, if y'all enjoyed the video, like the video. Snow is right here. Be easy, y'all.